Welcome back to the First, the Last Nerdom, the show where we dive into the first, the last, and everything gloriously weird, nerdy, and unexpected in between. This week, we're saddling up for another episode of our special series that we like to call Binge-worthy, where we like to pick a TV show that we're curious about, watch the first 3 episodes, and decide whether it deserves a full-blown binge watch or just a polite nod before we gallop off into the sunset. But this week, we're doing things a little differently. We're stepping out of the sci-fi labs, the haunted woods, and the gritty spy agencies, and into the wonderfully absurd world of the completely made-up adventures of Dick Turpin. This new series takes a legendary 18th century highwayman and gives him a full comedic makeover with swashbuckling charm, offbeat wit, and just the right amount of historical nonsense. It's part period adventure, part farce, and entirely tongue-in-cheek, packed with outrageous characters, ridiculous heists, and a sense of humor that feels like Monty Python met Our Flag Meets Death on the open road. So instead of asking, is this binge-worthy? Out of curiosity, we're asking it with a grin. Can this over-the-top outlaw comedy steal our hearts the same way Dick Turpin steals purses and punchlines? Grab your tricorn hat, polish your boots, and ready your best highwayman smirk, because this week we're taking the road less historically accurate. This is the First, the Last, the Nerdom, and tonight we ride into the ridiculousness. Yeah, the big sure. Here we go. We are talking about this beautiful show that Tom found. That I'm not surprised that Tom found it, because Tom finds all the cool things. Before we do that, here we are Mike and Tom, Mel and Tom. We are https www.FirstLastNerdom.com and you can go see there. Go catch our website that we finally got up. I'm so proud of it. It has the last 10 rotating carousel of our last 10 shows, or our last 10 broadcasts, or publication or published items from YouTube on the website. And as always, we are also on YouTube, like I said before, first at FirstLastNerdom. Thank you to the 4, 5, 6 people who have joined us and stuck with it. We celebrate you. We just crossed over 4 years, the 4-year mark last weekend. We're trying to put something together, and we will get something there. Tom and I are getting better at that every day. But with that being said, Tom, what do you have to say, sir, for the plugging?
Yes, I'm on Reddit under FirstLastNerdom. Try to find subreddits that pertain to what we're talking about and promote on there. Sometimes those subreddits don't mind us doing that, and some do. And sometimes the Reddit filters deletes us. I don't know. So you might see me there.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm also on X under FirstLastNerdom. So if you want to know about our latest stuff, I'll post on there.
Some badass looking things there, sir. I need to grab screenshots from when we did it. We dressed up on Halloween. The Halloween show was a lot of fun. So if you don't go back and check it out. It'll serve you well, even though we're past Halloween now. So we're into that. We're in the Thanksgiving turkey season pretty soon.
Stuff in our face. We did our Halloween show was Blair Witch Project. We also stayed in makeup for our X-Files video, where we talk about our favorite X-File episodes.
Right.
And then Mike, you have some socials as well.
I do. Yeah, pretty same as you. I am also on X. You can find me there at ApeIt.Ink. Come knock on the door and whatever, if you want to come and talk. I think I'm going to open her back up beginning of next year. We'll see. But I'm also available on ApeIt.Ink, where I just talk about this or that. Haven't done boo with it. Shame on me. But with that, you can always find us on YouTube at the First Last Nerdom. Therein. So this week we decided to do this one for the binge-worthy, and to shortcut this, the answer is yes, this is binge-worthy. and deliciously done too. So this actually got me a chance to see. It always falls into this thing. You pick a bomb wonderful series or show to watch, and then I'll do the first three, and then if I have a little bit more time, I'll I'll go ahead and write it out for most of the way out. For the most part, this one only had the series as in the BBC, as we have come to learn, because the BBC has been featured prominently on this binge-worthy series of shows that we've done over this last year, and we're very proud of that too. But the fact that the in the BBC a season for American viewers would be called a season, over there it's called a series. So, and they usually only have a really finite amount of shows. They don't have like 22, like The
Yeah.
Office or X-Files did, like where there was,
Yeah.
a
Average is
lot of
usually about 6 episodes. I think this
yeah.
runs in at about 7. Yeah, it was, I was watching another British show, Slow Horses. I'd picked Apple TV back up, and I was kind of going through, since I have Apple TV now, I was looking at other things to watch, and yeah, this popped up, and I noticed Noel Fielding. He's one of our favorites. We covered him in the Mighty Boosh, and also on the IT Crowd. So he's been on some of those reality shows, like those cooking shows. I think he's a host on one of those. But yes, this is a comedy series that he has, and I definitely it looked like right up my alley. Him playing a supposed highwayman. He accidentally kills the lead boss, and the other guys decide that he would be a good replacement for their for their leader. So yeah, it's kind of a mix of period piece, but also they don't stick strictly to reality isn't observed. So there's a lot of fourth wall breaking and sort of current jokes that kind of fly by. So
Yeah. Yeah.
um so,
Yeah, we follow Dick, as the leader of the Essex gang.
mhm.
He commits petty crimes trying to become England's greatest highwayman, um, while being pursued by someone else.
Yeah, and I enjoyed the first episode, although you kind of have to, I guess, fill your ground and kind of fill out the characters. I did enjoy like the second episode a lot better than the first. There was moments in that first episode where you're like, I don't know about this,
I
but yeah, they kind of fill their oats with the second one and kind of get comfortable with everybody.
agree with that. I don't know what it is, but sometimes on and it's more newer modern shows too. Sometimes the first episode isn't the best one, and it doesn't mean that it sucks. It just means that it's probably not the one to kind of get turned on into, to kind of get going. We got there, but I
Yeah.
agree with you. It got better as the show progressed, but there's just
Mhm.
something about that. It's just a hard start sometimes for these, but it's worth
Mhm.
sticking through though.
Mhm.
So the pilot opens with Dick rejecting his dad's expectations that he
Mhm.
should become an apprentice butcher.
Yeah.
Um, because why? Because he's
It's vegan.
vegan. Which is, you know, it, it's beautiful. Like you get that, and then you you get you get the sewing machine. Anyway, it works. It works. So no, that wasn't too hard pressed to, again, is the first episode. It's not that it sucked or whatever, it was terrible. It was just like, it kind of, you kind of got to be in the mood is what I'm saying, I guess. I don't know. Maybe there's a better way to put it. Anyway, what are your,
Yeah.
but you're right. So like, yeah, we get there, then we get, you're right. And the second episode was the Unrobbable coach. Right. Yeah. I was going to say,
Yeah,
what
there
was
was
I?
another I British humor, it with modern times, I guess, you know uh, they do try to be politically correct sometimes, and sometimes that over it kind of saturates the humor to its detriment. There's another show that you mentioned in the intro that I tried didn't go over as well, but yeah, it's TD's Our Flag Means Death on HBO.
Yeah, I've
Um,
heard. Yeah, I
it
was wondering. I mean, we haven't talked about it directly, but I have seen it pop up occasionally. I always wonder to talk about it with you.
Yeah,
But go on, go on.
yeah, it's not on my binge worthy list. It's okay.
Right.
But yeah, I think they kind of bend over backwards to not offend certain people. And I think it kind of hammocks hamstrings the humor, whereas this it does kind of ride that line, and it it's to its
Well,
benefit. It's I think a lot of it's kind of weighs heavy on Noel Fielding's charm and appeal. A lot of the
mhm.
show is kind of hinged on that. If you don't like Noel Fielding, you're not going to like this show. But if you enjoy his characters, because I was trying to yeah, there's not a whole lot of difference between his character in the Mighty Bush and then his character in this. He's pretty much Noel Fielding playing Noel Fielding, maybe to
Right.
a more exaggerated level. I'm sure he's not like this every day, but yeah, if you've seen the Mighty Bush, you know what character he's playing in this.
Well,
So,
there's a classic kind of like I don't want to say signature, but it is Noah Fielding. But I was going to say, well, in this second episode, you see just how British it is, right? So
mhm,
you understand that, okay, this is a show or something about these misfits trying to find their place in a world that ranks criminals like their sports teams.
mhm.
Which
Yeah.
is literally a ranking system for gangs.
Mhm.
Which is ridiculously
Yeah.
it's ridiculous, but it's also oddly compelling to watch this play out as you do,
Mhm.
which is also on top of also the it's a period piece, right? So I
Mhm.
mean, the levels of absurdity that you suspend disbelief because it's British and because it has a certain kind of way that it carries itself, which does not suffocate itself from like you were saying, like I don't know, whatever you want to call it, modern audiences that never materialize or PC or whatever,
Mhm.
there's a certain way that you can get away with things and be entertaining for everyone. If you're clever and charming about it, I guess as the kids say, if you
Mhm.
have the Riz, short for charisma, if you got the
Mhm.
Riz,
Mhm.
you can carry things off too.
Not
Um,
to be confused with the Rizzler. He's a legend in and of
oh
himself.
God, yeah, let's see the TikTok, yeah, bow down to the TikTok gods, YouTube peons.
Uh-huh.
But well, yeah,
Uh-huh.
and I would actually go a step further and say that really you got to give it three full episodes, because that's where it found its footing really for me too.
Yeah.
Like where after they get the heist with the gold bars in London,
Uh-huh.
Dick finds himself on the run. But it's pretty cool to see the and this is also another thing. It's kind of like an odd couple thing that the British artists do so well. Or he's got he's okay. Apparently, he's got his nemesis. What is it? Jonathan Wilde.
Uh-huh.
And he's got to work with him essentially. Like he's
Yep.
like I said, like that classic odd couple kind of. I hate you, you
Right.
hate me, but we got to get through this for
Yep.
whatever reason.
We gotta work together, yeah, to to save each other. But yeah, so yeah, there's sort of like that backstabby, will they stay true to each other or not? The there's obviously there's a play on Dick's name, him wanting to get that dick, and Yeah, his son sniggering behind
Yeah.
him.
Well, I want this dick in my hands as soon as possible. Deep diving on the dick. I'm sorry that I could see though, like where people, maybe that gets grating a little bit. I don't know. It's funny to me as long as it's delivered in a funny manner, not like people just going through the motions. But we have this vegan highwayman and a reluctant leader of the gang there. Um, yeah, he's
Yeah,
got.
and
Sorry to pop
mhm,
in real quick, Tom. But the way that his son popped in, he
mhm,
just kind of randomly, that
mhm.
that is exactly what they would do, like on another, on a BBC show. Like that's that the reoccurring, kind of arc that they pop up at the most, is just
Yeah.
it's hilarious.
Yeah. The show's pretty enjoyable. I think the thing about it is it's well produced.
Hmm.
We went through and watched a whole bunch of older 2000s British shows that we all quite enjoyed. And they had low to no budgets to them, so watching this show, with its polish and how good it looks with its locations and the outfits and everything. It's it really shows how beautiful
Yeah.
this thing looks. It's a
It
beautiful looking show.
Yeah. There's just this really good line there. But so I guess if you is there any current news, or do we want to cover the financial thing or the other thing? Because this has 2 seasons, right? Out there.
Um, there
Oh,
is I think there's only one season on Apple
okay.
TV, but there
Okay.
might
No,
have
you're
been
right. Right.
uh,
Right now. Right now.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. There might be a new season in the UK that we're not aware of, because I noticed that when you're going through the episodes that they premiered last year in March, it looks like on one of the episodes.
Yeah.
So
2024.
24.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it just showed up on Apple last month for us, so we're maybe a year behind on that.
You're
But
right.
then,
You're right.
but those episodes, with a series nowadays, you end up, they're being on 2 year breaks in between, 2 or 3 years breaks between seasons. So who knows? So yeah, there may be a new season, there might not be.
Oh, I thought, sorry,
Yeah.
excuse me. I was good. Thank God. I was like, I don't know why I thought there was only 6. But anyway, good. Not quite to 6 yet, but that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's nothing out there for season 2, so it's
Yeah.
uh might be obviously there's a season 2 somewhere. So that
Yeah.
sucks. Fire up the VPN. Um, but yeah, no, it's just charming. And it's really good. I really enjoyed it. I don't know. What was your of the 3 episodes? I kind of would you say 2, or because mine was the third one that I saw, and I did go on to watch the 4th one too, by the way.
Gotcha.
But
Yeah, I've only watched the first three. Yeah, I think the Unrobbable Coach is probably the favorite of mine. Although, yeah, Run Wild, the third episode was pretty fun too. But yeah, the only thing I could say is, a lot of with these British shows, um, that we watched, all the actors were comedians. So the humor was kind of built into their performance. Whereas I get the sense with this series, Noel Fielding's probably the only comedian person. I get that the other members of his team are more actors than comedians. So
mhm,
like I said, Noel is pulling a lot of weight on this. It
I
would
can
have
see
been
that.
maybe more ideal if they had more comedian type people acting along with him, so that he's not the only one doing all the heavy lifting comedically. But they held their own, and I could just see where it would have been maybe a fuller show if you had more comedians
Weight
to fill out.
around
Yeah,
him. Yeah.
right.
Well,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, Noah Fielding. He's it's Vince Noir, it's Richmond, from the IT crowd. It's every you know it's every RT nonconformist kind of character, but in a
Mhm.
period costume
Yeah.
with purple boots and a sewing machine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's gonna go grab a beer at the local pub, with a child
Yeah.
bartender. Because
Yeah. And I noticed his real life brother plays his cousin in this show. He takes over as the apprentice butcher with his dad. So yeah, I did notice that his brother's in there, which he was in the Mighty Boosh as well. So that was fun
oh,
seeing him there.
awesome.
but but yeah, more of a minor character. He shows back up in the third episode, so it's kind of fun seeing him every once in a while. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's a fun show. Definitely a thumbs up. I noticed that overall, IMDb gave it a 7 out of 10. That's probably about
Overwhelming.
about correct.
Yeah,
I
like I
think.
don't think it's not like the most amazing newest thing on the block, but I'd say that for a new thing for me, I enjoyed it to be a new thing. Even though, like I
Mhm.
said, that episode one is kind of a little bit of a hard start, a little bit, but not near as bad as like I think probably the worst one that I had to force myself to watch, and I didn't have to force myself to watch this. It was the Watchmen, the HBO version of the Watchmen.
Mhm.
That is just like it does get there, but like holy shit, like I mean oh man, I mean
Well, it's
it's kind of
yeah.
not worth it, kind of not worth the payoff in my opinion, but that's a whole other show. That's a whole other show, but
Yeah, it's one of those
yeah.
shows. That Watchmen show is one of those where I equally hated it and loved it
Right.
at different times.
Right.
'Cause,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, it would piss you off to the point where you're like, I'm going to stop watching the show, and then it does something amazing. You go, okay, well maybe I'll stick a little bit longer, and then yeah,
Right.
it's sort of like this constant battle between with your emotions. Whereas this show, it's you said it's
It's
finding
good.
its feet. It's good, like you said. The first episode, you're getting introduced to all the characters. There's a lot of exposition you have to get through to kind of understand the concept, the conceit of the show, and get introduced to everybody. So with the second episode, they got all that stuff out of the way, and you're onto the story. It's I hate those shows where people say, oh well, you have to get through the first two seasons and then it gets good, and that's like 20 episodes. No, I don't think so. Whereas this one, you really get the understanding of the show by the second episode, and
Right.
then so yeah, and again, if you're it really depends on your Fielding's likability for you. Like I said, there's a whole lot else for the show outside
Hmm.
of Fielding. So, if you're not really into Fielding, then you're not going to be into the show.
No.
But if you appreciate his humor and his charm, this really plays it up. And I can only see this getting better with time. I think
Hmm.
they'll probably have other characters start popping up to add to the roster. But yeah, I can see where like by the time the second season kicks in, it'll be a right proper show, as they would say across the the pond.
Yeah. Well, the show is saying, that we know this is bullshit. You know this is bullshit, but let's have some fun with the bullshit. With
Yeah.
that beautiful. You got to be in the mood for it. It's perfectly perfect for showing eccentric British weirdos. You know,
Mhm. Yeah.
like, but who are there's a likable aspect there. There's like a buffoonery that you want to kind of see the joke land, and
Mhm.
sometimes joke the dick is the joke quite literally, and sometimes the joke is on someone else, but for the most part you kind of, and then you want to stick around, but it's just there's good chemistry there. I agree with you. If you're not into the absurdist comedy, that kind of thing, you're probably gonna have a harder time with this, but if you can stick it out through, I think Tom's right. Once you pass the goal line with episode two, to me, it kind of comes up and really gets running. really in the third one, and that's also true in my opinion of the fourth one, although we're not going to cover that one today. But binge worthy, absolutely. What do you think, Tom? What do you say?
Mhm.
What do you know? What do you think?
Yeah, if you're an Anglophile, more than likely you'll enjoy this. If you like the humor of his previous things, I'm sure you'll enjoy it. So yeah, it's a thumbs up for me. Definitely check it out. We sort of went Anglophile this week. We covered Dick Turpin, but also we
Yeah.
did cover the 1985 movie Brazil, which is distinctly British, although Robert De Niro shows up in that one, which is sort of a dark black comedy with absurdist humor in it as well. So it's an interesting pairing. I would normally put Brazil with the completely made up adventures of Dick Turpin, but yeah, it's sort of a interesting pairing of the two. So you know,
Mhm.
if
Yeah,
you yeah, if you're out there in the audience and have a recommendation for binge worthy, definitely let us know. So last week we did our favorite episodes of the X Files, so
yes,
we're pretty much all over the map when it comes to our viewing
binge.
pleasure.
Yeah, and I think that's it. Just reflects what's out there. But I was going to say too. There's I just had a thought, and I'm sure we'll cover Severance at some point. That'll be fun to do a binge worthy on. But the that while that does, if you ever wonder what the hell a period piece would have to do with me or whatever, I almost guarantee you, most people out there, they work. If you're in a corporate, this thing is satirizing, careerism and metrics obsessed modern, vision and workplace and incremental this and all that, and just one more thing to do, to knock out the list, or the inbox zero. That's what I was trying to think. But anyway, all around good. Very happy that we got to
Mhm.
cover that one this week. And you're right, very Anglophile, but that's kind of bonky cookers kind of thing that happens when we do this thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
over
wouldn't.
time.
Yeah, you wouldn't think Dick Turpin would be an Apple TV show. It's more of a when you think of Apple TV, you think of more highbrow sort of would like to with Severance, a little bit more higher brow, intellectual humor kind of thing. Whereas, yeah,
Right.
Dick Turpin is, spends a lot of time in the toilet with the toilet humor. So, but maybe, sometimes you need that. So,
Yeah, no, that this one was fun. And I was gonna say, go check it out now. And I've been Mike,
num time.
and we'll
Yeah,
leave the light on for
always,
you.
always trying to get that dick.
God damn it.